Okay, everybody. Today is August 16th, 2025. It's currently 8:11 p.m. As I sit here in my office taking a look at the markets, what transpired the recent week that just ended, and what is likely to happen in the coming week. And I want to focus in this video on the S&P 500 because I believe that we are at an important crossroad, temporarily anyway, for the S&P 500. In other words, I am expecting the S&P to start correcting, start moving down. That's right. I'm expecting the stock market to start moving down. Now, I'm not calling for a bear trend or anything that serious, although that can, of course, happen. I do expect that this year will close out on a bullish note. I do expect that the correction that I'm expecting to happen in the S&P 500 at this time will just be simply that, a bull trend correction. I'll show you some of the things I'm looking at that brings me to that conclusion. So let's get right into it without further ado. Now, you're looking at a weekly chart on my TradingView charting app here of the SPY. Now, I'm looking at the SPY here because I currently put on some SPY puts last week, and in expectation of the S&P moving lower. And so as I'm analyzing my trade, I thought I'd share that with you. Now on the weekly chart here, as you can see, taking this previous weekly decline that occurred in the S&P, if you want dates, it looks like a week beginning February 18 all the way down to week starting April 7th. Extrapolate Fibonacci extension levels. You can see that last week ended with the high at the Fib 0.236 extension level. Okay, so we put that in one column for the potential of a swing top occurring at this time. Now let's go and look for some additional information. And right here, if you look on the left panel here, the right panel is a 195-minute chart. We don't care about that for this video. But over here, I have the weekly chart just with different indicators on here. The reason I'm bringing your attention to this one is because it has these green and red rectangles. These represent overbought and oversold zones. They're extremely, extremely accurate, and I use them all the time. And as you can see, weekly prices have moved into the overbought zone in the last 3-4 weeks. Now, if you'll notice that one corrective bar right here, this is going to be important. So you want to remember, now this one here that made this higher swing bottom, you can see that it pulled back. That's a correction. I'll expand it some more for you if you can't see that, or for those new to charting. But you can see as price moved up, it then started to make lower weekly prices in reference to the previous week. That's a correction there. And then with higher week prices going up, in this case 2 weeks, because each one of these represents a week of trading, it has confirmed this as a higher weekly swing bottom. You can see one was formed here, week beginning June 23rd, and then one was formed back here, week beginning May 19th, so on and so forth. And this one here, of course, is a major swing bottom, and that was the end of the old tariff scare thing here. Kind of brought things down into the first week, it looks like, or second week of April before this run up. But this here, I want you to remember this. Now, this is week beginning July 28th. However, it is week ending 8/1. And the reason why I am mentioning that is because my personal software that I have written, I use the Friday date, the end of the week date, to identify weekly price bars, whereas TradingView charting software uses Monday's date, which just makes me have to do somersaults in my head or count on my fingers when I look at the date and it says July 28, and then I have to figure out, well, that means Friday was August 1st. And you're going to want to remember that, and I'll show you in a moment. So, overbought. And the last chart here, the Bollinger Band chart here, nothing to see here except for, again, you can see the correction. We come up here, there's this indicator down here, which is called the Williams VIX. It's free, TradingView, and I like it because it just gives me an idea if there's a lot of heavy buying or selling or heavy fear and greed, however you want to look at it. When I think of VIX, that's what I'm thinking of is fear and greed, which you can see that in previous times when you get these red bars here, it usually ends up in a reversal. You can see back here after all this, then when it ended, we had the correction. And we can see that we are now, it's been happening while this has been going up, and we don't have the gray bar yet, but that could be as soon as this thing starts to move lower. So it's definitely a lead up to a correction, a lead up to a correction, a lead up to a correction. You can see right there, a lead up to a correction. You can see right here. So very useful for this long-term stuff, especially. And so that's my charting evidence, should I say, information that I am leaning on to come to my conclusion. Now, let me change monitors here and bring you over to my other one here. Okay, this is the Market Timer Discord, which you are all invited to join if you haven't already. And here you will find that I provide members here for free all kinds of charting analysis. So that's the chat room, which traders can chat on the chat room, but right here in Trade Talk you can see that I'm talking about various stocks: UNP, CLF, CAT, MDLZ, so forth and so on. Lots of charts, colorful charts, my analysis, my comments, everything else. And if I placed a trade, I provide the link. Here's closed trades link. There's open trades links like right here. These are still open. And so you can learn something, hopefully. You can get my ideas or my biases on what I expect the market to do. And you can see why I am expecting the market, the particular stock, to do what I say it's going to do, because I lay it all out here for you for free, and I comment in here almost every single day. And again, it is free to access the Trade Talk, the Traders Chat Room, and the Closed Trades channels. Now, as far as the alerts, if you want alerts on trades that I open, as well as trades that I have closed, which show up as green for wins and red for losses. If you want the actual trade when it opened, you'll want to have access to the alerts channel. It is free. However, there is one small caveat, and that is you are encouraged to participate in the traders chat room. So come in there and let us know what stock you're looking at, or ask a question about some stocks, or ask questions about maybe an analysis that I've done in Trade Talk. But just post something within once every 30 days and you get free access to these alerts, and they can also alert you on your phone and so forth when I put on an actual real money trade. All right, so enough of that. I'm going to go into the F-Date members channel. Now this one is reserved for my F-Date members. It's a completely different service. It is a paid service. It's been around since 1996. one of the longest running trading memberships, if not the longest running. I don't know one that's longer, but I'm not looking. Maybe you know of one that's longer. But anyway, here I post things strictly for F-Date members who are also a part of this Discord. Let me close this here real quick. Okay, so what I want to bring your attention to is this post that I made down here, and I'll just highlight it because I have no way of making it bigger. But what I'm saying here is that here we are on the weekend following the end of trading for week 815. Notice that the date I gave, 815, is Friday's date. So again, for the F-Date members and my software that I use to do my analysis for F-Date members, those are our futures and Forex traders. I use the end of the week date to represent the price bar to look at. Now it says here, the following end of the trading week of 815, we know that the last WTD, that means weekly turn date. Okay, this would be one of my F-Date turn dates that F-Date members have access to from the F-Date report that's published every week. And it tells us where to look for weekly swings as well as daily swings. Well, we know that the last weekly turn date that we had produced a higher weekly swing bottom. Well, if you haven't guessed already, that would be week ending 8-1. Remember, I said to remember that date because that produced this higher WSB right here, weekly swing bottom. So that came in on time as predicted. And it says, and now we have weekly turn date 815, which represents the week that just ended. And it says it's due to likely form a weekly swing top. So then if we couple that with the daily turn dates, we have weekly turn dates and daily turn dates, which is, of course, a shorter time frame. If we couple that with the 813 daily time frame, okay, we remember that that produced the last daily correction on the S&P chart. So let me go and bring that back up again so you can see what I'm talking about. And I'm going to go to a daily chart. But this here, I got to really stretch this out so you can see it because everything's getting really micro up here. But 813 is that top you see right there. Okay, that top right there, which was in the SPY. Now those dates refer to the futures. Let me just go to the futures to be more accurate, not the SPY, though they track kind of close. But in the futures, it made this swing top. If I do this, you can see it so much easier. You can see that here, it made a top. Prices dropped down to make a higher swing bottom for 814. So they're both within the same turn cycle because each turn cycle date refers to a price bar, but it could be off one bar. But in this case, we have the whole correction occurring within that TDT, that daily turn date, or F date, which is the original name for it. It had this correction. So we were expecting this correction to happen. Now, I would have said, hey, let's let it keep going, but then it made an opposing swing right here and moved even higher, which now brings us to this 815 bar. And Monday becomes the 818 bar. You can see the date down here when I move this crosshair. You can see there's 818 for Monday, 815. Now what's important about that is that 815, 818 exists within the weekly, the WTD, and I'm going to go back to the Discord again. It exists within this WTD 815 time window. You're talking about a bar or two within the actual long-term weekly cycle date. It's due to likely form a WST. That means weekly swing top. So when we couple that with the 813, 814 correction happened for that. And then on the report, here's a freebie for you because you don't have the report. We have a turn date for 8/18. Do you remember what that was? Monday. Well, Friday is 1 day early. Monday is on time, and 8/19 Tuesday would just be 1 day late. It's all within this time period right here. And I'm thinking we're looking at a WST forming right now. Okay, and then of course I comment that I'm also biased because I've added SPY puts to my long list of stock option trades. And of course, anyone who is a member of this Discord, again, it's free. You can click on the link down in the show notes for this video or in the comment section and just join. But there is an alert for that SPY trade. Matter of fact, there's an alert for a couple of different SPY put trades. And so you can see which ones I entered. So anyway, that's it for this weekend, for this video. And that is my analysis and forecast for the S&P 500, in that I believe that the weekly swing top is upon us now. Nothing is 100% guaranteed. I'll tell you that right now. I do not have a crystal ball. I deal strictly with probability, just probabilities. Okay, that's my disclaimer. You can see my analysis. You can see the data. You can see my comments. So you know my reasons why I believe so. But again, the market has a mind of its own. And so if things do not look like they're turning out as expected, don't fall in love with a market. Don't fall in love with a trade. Use proper risk management. I thank you so much for watching this video. I sure would appreciate it if you would slam that like button so that the algorithm with YouTube would shine favorably upon me. And also, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to this YouTube channel and click that notification bell so that you'll be informed of my timely upcoming videos just like this one. And join my Discord service and get those free alerts and get in on the chat. And let's profit together. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.